Keep it tight. All right.
Okay, did I do something bad or something?
Not yet.
God.
This is the Lydia and Spin with Lydia Lunch and Tim Dahl, episode number 143. Good afternoon, or should I say good morning to you, Timmy?
Well, good afternoon. It was a late one last night, but and I felt pretty rough this morning, but I feel kind of fine now. The problem is I have a lot of shit to do, so
yeah,
it's gonna be a late one again because I have to do my stuff. Yeah.
I edited what we're going to hear after the intro after you left, and I'm feeling pretty silky and smooth myself.
Nice.
Hello. All right, let's get right into it.
Sure.
And you know, this is a subject close to my heart because I've had about 3 relatives go down on this. So a number of New Jersey residents are reporting that they're suffering from brain tumors, and they have something in common. They all worked for or attended the same high school. Now, a local activist in Woodbridge Township, which is only about 25 miles from New York, discovered that a number of residents in the town were suffering from a rare form of brain tumor. And they had suffered for years, but they couldn't figure out the link between the victims. And it wasn't determined until a local environmental scientist, Al Lupiano, determined the connection.
I wonder if he did the toxic dumping. All right.
I'm going to dump on you in a minute. Lupiano said that he learned 20 years ago that he suffered himself from a rare brain tumor and still suffers. Of course, I mean, you don't really get rid of a brain tumor from lingering issues. And his sister passed away from complications with a brain tumor. And he started questioning friends about, hey, anybody else you know? Right. And it went from like 1 to 5 to 65 cases of brain tumors in the same town. And what they had in common is they all worked or attended Colonia High School. Now, they think it might be the presence of ionizing radiation. The school was built in 1967 on unused land, and no records from that time currently exist. So, according to the National Center for Biotechnology Information, you know, I go there often, ionizing radiation strongly associated with the risk of developing tumors along the brain membranes. And this is what's bizarre, is the chances of developing them are found to be stronger in younger rather than older people.
That's interesting.
I mean, my one cousin who never drank, did drugs, had sex with one man, she was 33, died of a brain tumor. So Woodbridge Mayor John McCormick, he's acknowledging the findings. And finally, after 65 brain tumors, they're reaching out to the New Jersey Department of Health, Department of Environmental Protection, federal officials.
I thought those agencies, including the CDC, that's their job to stay on top of this. I didn't know it would be a person like, hey, there's 65 brain tumors.
Tim, it was 2 people complaining in 77 about the Love Canal first Superfund site not far from my hometown. It was 2 people, 2 newspaper reporters. If you think the fucking departments are going to look after when there's 1,900 Superfund sites now, give me a fucking break. Tell me something good.
Well, I mean, that talk about ahead of its time, the trauma.
Toxic Avenger.
Toxic Avenger. No, they had what we called Class of Nukem High, which was took place in New Jersey.
I just saw Kembra today, and actually, she was recently in a trauma film during the pandemic.
Oh, really?
I mean, if anybody deserves to be in trauma films, it's certainly Kembra Fowler. I mean, she's a superstar.
I mean, yeah, of course she is. And yeah, that works out. But yeah, Class of Nukem High, that's New Jersey. So maybe they're on to something. Here's some other toxic experiences. Did you hear about this German guy that took 90 vaccination shots?
I did.
I mean, and
why?
He claims his goal was to sell fraudulent vaccine cards, but he was willing to be the guinea pig by taking 90. That's like probably like 2 a week.
Well, I guess he's fine.
Not upstairs. I mean, that guy's craisins. I don't know. I'm curious what that would do. I mean, would that do anything?
I actually ate some craisins earlier. Tim, you're getting more psychic the more you hang around me. I'm telling you.
Oh my God, you ate craisins.
I'll save some for you.
Okay. I'll save some for you. Should I go on to another story? Do you have one?
I can't wait. Go ahead. Do me good.
So basically, there's this seal in the Hamptons out in eastern Long Island.
Navy SEAL?
No.
Seal.
A harbor seal.
I wish I had a Navy SEAL in my harbor. I'm just saying.
Well, the thing got a little it went a little further than the beach and just started hanging around downtown, causing like traffic. It's like in the middle of the street, and everyone's like, go back in the water where you live, and just like
what the hey,
and it's
what?
just crawling in the middle of the street, and it's just like people are like, will this thing fucking move? But it's created a little following too. Some people like really like the thing, but I guess it doesn't want to be in the ocean anymore. It's supposed to hang with the humans.
Yeah,
the Hamptons is pretty expensive, so I maybe he's got some rich, exquisite tastes.
Has Silly the Seal got his own freaking Facebook page? Got a lot of likes on there, or what? People started liking the fucking seal.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was actually I was in East Hampton during the pandemic, and there was a harbor seal that got munched by a great white out there. It was it was in the winter and just doing its thing, and a great white came and just chomped half of it off. All right. I love shark stories, as you know.
Yes, so do I.
Do you want me to go into another one, or do you want to go?
I do because mine is going to lead into our special edition.
Okay.
All right, we have a special edition today.
Oh, and actually, this kind of connects with our special edition.
Can't wait.
So Lauren Handy, 28, she's in the DC area, just got arrested. They found she was a self-proclaimed anti-abortion activist.
I love this story. Thank you for bringing it up.
They found 5 fetuses in her house.
Tim, I hate to correct you. I think it's been updated to over 100 now.
What?
Go ahead. Continue with this story.
How do you get the newer information?
Hey.
Okay.
Anyhow. I'm a news hoe.
Well, I mean, she basically.
Hey, 5 is bad enough.
She set herself up because she was, they're doing one of their little protests outside of an abortion clinic. No. She had broken in. She arranged an abortion under this alias, Hazel Jenkins or something. And then when she got in there, she's like, no one can enter, and like try to like hold the place hostage and create this real dramatic thing.
So how did she go about stealing the fetuses?
Well, in DC, WUSA 9 happened to be there, and because there's a whole event, and she was leaving, and she had these coolers with her, and they're like, well, what the hell's in those? And she's like, she goes, well, no, first she basically turned herself in. First she said, I'm expecting my house to be raided any day now. Like why? And then she had these, they're like, well, what are in these coolers? And she goes, if people knew what were in these coolers, they would freak the fuck out.
Well, what an idiot setting herself up. I have to ask, I wonder if a cool fetus is better than a hot fetus. What the hell was she doing with them?
Well, that's what I don't get.
We don't get that.
Is she like petting these things? She's like, oh, poor fetus. I mean, what is she doing with these things?
I mean, this needs more investigation.
Yeah, she's crazy. She's crazy. But I thought that would be a nice connection with.
Well, what's coming up soon after this next story?
Yes.
So in a new I mean, look, I'm always looking for a new kind of drug or high or whatever. And actually, this goes back, I think the first musician to use what I'm about to talk about might have been Lou Reed in 77. So in a new study, researchers examined, and it's not new, a way to alter minds because, people are getting bored with drugs, fear of dying, hello, and digital sounds. Why do we do music? We want to alter people's minds, but now people are really turning into binaural beats. And the report is that with the right beats, you can reduce pain, enhance memory, and ease anxiety and depression. So to determine what kind of crossover might exist between the use of more traditional psychoactive substances and experimentation with binaural beats, a team of researchers from Australia and the UK dug into the 2021 Global Drug Survey and a survey of more than 30,000 individuals from 22 countries. And they found that about 5%, which is a good amount, surveyed had dabbled in the use of binaural beats in the last year. And everybody has a different reaction. I mean, most of the users, look, people are into ASMR, whatever. Most of the users were in their late teens or early 20s, and they had used MDMA, pot, whatever. And mostly they were from US, Mexico, Brazil, Poland. So beyond seeking a high, the reasons when surveyed, they were experimenting with binaural beats were as varied as the people themselves. And this is, multiple people, multiple countries. But obviously the phenomena of binaural beats, again, not only Lou Reed in the late 70s, but it actually goes back to literature in mid 17th century. And so
Whoa.
here we go. So anyway, of course, binaural beats, almost any beats are thought to induce changes in the brain. So for instance, if you listen to 400 hertz tone in one ear
Okay.
and 400 hertz tone in the other, your brain will interpret it as a single droning buzz of 40 hertz located somewhere inside your skull.
Oh, bizarre. Okay.
And the interpretation requires more than just our peripheral auditory machinations. It actually makes use of a complex brainstem hardware buried deep inside our heads. And it prompts neurons to actually synchronize into wave patterns associated with relaxation. Of course, that's not the kind of music or beats we make. But anyway, studies further encourage investigation as a means of easing acute anxiety and binaural beat therapy. Hey, I'm all into beat therapy, I must say now.
Sure.
At least when it comes to changing someone's moods. Now,
So wait, 40 hertz. So you combine
400 in each
400,
ear.
400, and it gives a perception of 40 hertz, which is right around the edge. What's the lowest we can hear? 20 hertz, I think. I don't know.
That might be the average human, not me. That acute hearing crap.
Well, I mean, just what we can actually hear. But the beats. Alvin Lucia would write whole pieces based on binaural beats. Binaural beats, yeah, and just by separating the hertz kind of slightly off each other, which would create different rates of these beats. Yeah, I wonder why those things are so comforting and have such weird psychological impacts. I mean, I think white noise machines are dealing with all types of beats, but it's not binaural beats. I don't know.
Most beats bore me. That's all I can say. All right. Well, look, I just returned from the Ann Arbor Film Festival and Detroit, and at the fabulous club UFO, thank you, Dion, I had a performance with Jex Blackmore, very impressed, Joseph Keckler, and myself. And that is what we are having, our live performances from that show just last weekend, here as one of our specials, which we haven't had in a long time. So I'm very thrilled to bring for episode number 143 of the Lydia and Spin with Lydia Lunch and Tim Dahl, live in Detroit, Jex Blackmore, Joseph Keckler, and Lydia Lunch at the UFO Club. Thank you, Dion, and thank you, Casey, for recording us. Good evening. I'm Lydia Lunch. Whatever that means to you. I want to thank my sister witch wife, Jex Blackmore, who put me into a state of canatonic tears. Thank you very much. And for arranging this. Thank you, Dion, for the UFO invitation to my future residency. I would love to thank my future ex-husband, Joseph Keckler. That is, Keckler and Heckler, as we are known. And if you think you know me, you don't fucking know me. You don't fucking know me.
That's right.
I'm a solitary ecstatic with a mouth of a murderess. And trust me when I say, and this is not a fucking poem, I'm feeling murderous again. There's something about my corrosive bloodline. It bruises the bones and violates from the inside out. And it seems as if something somehow deep inside me is seeking retribution against the flesh of its own host carrier. Electrospasms of agitation, spinning shockwaves. This is the state I fucking live with. Trust me on that. Ripple under my skin, irritating from the inside out, from the outside in. This is where a part of me lives. Most of me lives. The bloodletter, the maniac, the psychotic, suffering from schizophrenic mood swings. I shit you fucking not. I scream at myself. Let me rephrase that. I scream at myself to just fucking stop, to just learn to stay the fuck away so I can find a way to not make each and every fucking day so goddamn murderous. Hyperactive limbo, electro rigor mortis, one foot in front of the other, 1,000,001 Sisyphean feats. And I know it is not just me who feels this way. I am not the only fatalist who is extreme by nature, who suffers from episodic fits of frenzy, violent outbursts, megalomaniacal tendencies, radical mood swings, or sociopathic tendencies. It's just that I get it. I fucking get it. Mine is a generation of convulsionaries at the center of a huge cosmic farce. The universe is just geometry stricken with epilepsy. We are all just spectators of the human condition, nailed to ourselves as the universe yawns. Prisoners of pathological drives, uncontrollable compulsions, the product of a profound psychic damage, praying for revelation by stupor. Can I have another drink, please? Make it a sidecar, make it a double. Just saying. Sacred silence shattered by stupid gibberish, the rattle of empty heads. The void! The void is just an inverted dream in which we are all engulfed. I am just attempting to put in motion all that has been lost in space by time. And if it appears to you as if I am drunk, I can assure you, first of all, I don't get fucking drunk. And if I appear drunk, it is if I am drunk with pain like some demented tormentrix, arousing a morbid lust, oozing with carnal desires, anxiously awaiting that one cosmic sexual act which will violate even existence itself in a monstrous and gloriously perverse manner. I am just waiting for one act to culminate in that supreme moment of ecstasy where I am no longer suspended above the abyss of insatiability which plunges my senses into a diabolical state of anarchy. I'm just waiting, because until that fucking time, and if any of you gentlemen or ladies think that you can take me on that trip I need to go to, until that fucking time, every solicitation of my flesh will be met with that undying hunger, by that hungry mouth, by that wise wound, by that red eye, by that greedy bitch who's bred to bleed and will second, who will sup unto sickness. And trust me, I have, until I can no longer stand supping on your fucking poisoned corpses. I mean, after all I really want, thank you, darling, is that all I really want? All I want is more. I mean, all I ever wanted was more of everything, in every way. All I really want is a sacred space, a secret place, a magical, non-tragic existence where words and music flow like the blood of a matador gored by the most beautiful bull that the world has never taken the time to witness. I mean, what I want is uninterrupted hedonistic bliss before the final kiss, which will probably come much too fucking soon anyway. What I want is pure intoxication, as I lose my mind so I don't have to think about the insanity of men who would rather fucking murder someone than to watch me fuck someone, or maybe even give them the best blowjob that they have ever fucking with. What I want is for you to be as free as I am. Free of all the fucking misery and bullshit, the agony and doubt. I want you to be laughing like I do, like a fucking lunatic, both middle fingers raised in the fucking air, of anyone that would deny us that of what we want. I always want more. Don't please, don't interrupt. Do not interrupt. I don't need that. Find the body. I'll never find this body. I'll never find this body. Find the body. I saw him first in the post office. His face, a blurry stain on a yellowed piece of paper, said wanted for But I can't remember what he was wanted for, but all I know is that I wanted him long before I knew that it was him I wanted. It was like getting lost in a film loop, a lacquer of an old late night black and white film noir like Nightmare Alley or Naked City, Gun Crazy, Double Indemnity, a few. Vengeance is mine. He was an ideal reflection of who he thought I was, mirrored in the drowning pool of my own eyes. Beautiful eyes which lie. As I drained them of everything except for heat and desire. He was like a hungry orphan seeking relief in my cruel smile. My lips were twisting around a man who he thought was him, but was merely a reflection of me, my need, my greed, my loneliness. Yeah. I remember. I remember when he was reinventing himself again and again. He was picking up the derelict pieces of shattered dreams, making peace with the empty promises and endless threats before his violence and malevolence was a magnetic firestorm, a spontaneous combustion of bloodlust and mistrust, like a punch-drunk bruiser, shadow-boxing in the dark, bunching shadows and raping ghosts. He was hell-bent on murdering that invisible enemy, that killer inside of him, that wanted inside of me, who just wanted out because it was never enough, because it's never the fuck enough, because the killer inside of me has a mind of her fucking own. Excuse me, I digress. There comes a point when the blood in my head becomes the blood in my hands. Before I knew it, my hands were around his fucking neck and it was broken in 3 different places. I'm just saying, vengeance is mine. There comes a point when nothing seems to make sense. Not anymore. Not when you're beyond reason, and whatever it was that it once was, it no longer is, and we no longer are, and it is gone. Whatever it was, and the more that I think I know, the more I think I know, the less I seem to comprehend, and he never fucking knew me. You think he fucking knew me? Please. He only knew what I let him fucking know. They only know so fucking much. They only know so much. You know, to me it was just like getting lost in a film loop. Maybe I've just seen one too many black and white late night film noirs like Strangers on a Train, Nightmare Alley, Gun Crazy, Rope, Vengeance is mine. And I'll never find his fucking body. The ex-mistress of a lunatic who's been on the lam for decades. I have been called in for questioning, grilled about my participation in the perpetuation of heinous crimes too numerous to even mention. Now, how the hell am I supposed to remember what I did 10 days ago, 28 years? I can't even remember what I did last night, all right? I mean, it's like trudging through a vast overgrowth somewhere deep in the backwoods and dredging through the dirt of an unmarked grave, looking for clues to an evil that befell a mutilated corpse that was left rotting in the rain. And of course, the details, they get a little sketchy as I attempt to stitch together a timeline based on random samples of circumstantial evidence, hearsay and cold, hard facts. But the crusty wound in my memory bank is like a grungy gorge almost too wide to circumvent, so like any good psychic detective sworn to tell the truth, that which I cannot recall, and trust me, I cannot, I will simply omit, which in the end only ends up favoring my defense. And by the way, here we are. And the less said about my crimes, the less said about the details, actually, the better, because quite frankly, what I cannot recall is best left buried in the mysterious, like a mysterious relic of some kind of lost long remembrance, some kind of toxic stew, which is what my memory bank has become. And one day, but not now, I may have to reveal it all, but until then, I must assure you that most of the fucking details I'm about to reveal are truly, absolutely fucking true and absolutely fucking murderous. Because I am feeling murderous! You could be next. Yeah. Actually, you could be fucking next. Oh, you think it's pretty fucking funny until you're the next one to end up vivisected, cut in half, and left on the side of some shit-stained road because some sick and twisted little mama's boy can no longer get it up anymore on just the mere flesh and bones alone, but he needs the fucking blood. He needs the life blood. Now, I can understand the need to fucking murder. Oh, yes, I can. Oh, I can understand the need to fucking murder, but why is it always the daughters of the mothers and fuckers that condemn men to murder in the first place that get slaughtered? Let me break it down. I do understand that young boys who become serial killers. In every fight, what is so mysterious to me is every woman I know wants a boyfriend who is a serial killer until she gets one. I understand that young boys, they were probably abandoned as children and plunked in front of the idiot box while the babysitter was finger fucking herself off in the next room stoned on acid, talking to her boyfriend on the telephone while mommy and daddy dearest were down at the local bar getting shit-faced so that they could come home and batter into castration and submission all the little boys that did not think that they wanted to grow up to be a madman or a fucking serial killer, but were just carrying it on in the family tradition. And in some families, the tradition is fucking murder. It is no wonder to me at all that it's always men who become rapists and serial killers and politicians and priests, because probably they were battered into submission as a little boy on the football field when they wouldn't wear the Nike swastika. And sexual segregation is one of the biggest problems in this fucking country and most other ones too. Act like a man, be tough, don't fucking cry. Incel, sin cell. My group is the sin cells. All right? I want to kill men that don't want to fuck me. How about that? Now, get in line. Bitch boys. The witness, voyeur, victim, hostage, character actress, waits mutely for the killer, con, thief, pathological liar, pyro, maniac, main antagonist to enter the scene. The stage is set. It's objective, obvious. Light breaks against the rock, amber, twilight glow, warm umber bathes, tiny bruises on twisted wrists. Who could resist? Who could resist? The girl, doll, hostage, victim, corpse, my doppelganger, dragged across the wet grasses, dewdrops, teardrops, blood splatter, dead bugs clings to cheek and lips. Am I dreaming again? A single eruption of unbearable regret throttles the ribcage of the assailant, who realizes his life will no longer be worth living until he has strangled the life out of the replicant supine before him, a distorted mirror image of his mother, girlfriend, lover, ex-lover, cheerleader, the traitor who betrayed him. His muddy memory banks reek of whiskey and rotten intentions, which replay a solitary vision of mommy dearest, drunk and running naked, streaming through the wallpapered hallways of a shattered youth, looking for a daddy who didn't fucking exist. And therein lies the twist that fucks the kid who kills the girl before taking himself out. I know, I can understand the need to fucking murder. Trust me on that. You have no fucking idea the control I execute. I am always the last man
fucking true. I am always the last man standing. Glass in hand, cigarette to blood red lips, black slip, hips cocked at a rakish angle, insomnia's wet nurse. Ready to shoot out the clock. 3:14, 4:52, 6:30 a.m. I have a 3:57 and it's fucking loaded. And with no one left but me in forensic files, I guess I'll play true detective and try to hunt down America's most wanted, those couples who kill in cold blood. That unsolved mystery the killing feels. I'm always looking for the prime suspect. That nightmare next door, the one that I always get away with it. I always get away with it. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm like some kind of fucking mine hunter that snapped and wants to crack open those cold case files, but it leaves me to investigate how, Jesus motherfucker, answer me this, Jax. Men, 13, 23, 33 years younger than I am, are always seduced by Morpheus into a sleep-like death, not even imagining what a fucking creep I am. As I sneak around rifling through their wallets, slipping a little bit of incriminating evidence inside, while extracting small samples of their DNA so that I might plan on a future crime scene of my own. And trust me on this, I do know every fucking trick in the forensic manual, including what blood splatter I got the blood splatter flip book, just saying. So go ahead, my little sheep. You want to sleep with me? I dare you to go to fucking sleep. Because I will because I'm a creep. And you're the loser. What the fuck are you doing here? You don't belong here. That's all right.
On one birthday of mine we all spent together, my friends were huddled around, endeavoring to determine which type of magical being each of them were. They gleefully discussed the finer points of elven taxonomy, locating themselves within it, and agreed that they were all fey folk. Yet none had deigned to speculate as to what fantastical genus I might belong, despite the fact that it was my birthday. "What about me?" I called out, hovering at the outskirts of the room. They turned their heads simultaneously. "Vampire," they shouted in jagged unison, with an edge of accusation. "Are you sure?" I asked. "I'm not Sprite, too?" "You feed off us," said one of them. "Don't worry," offered another. "We like it." The next year I was away, I spent my birthday by myself in an underground crypt in Hamburg, nodding off to live cello music, programmed for All Souls Day, upon which my birthday happens to fall. A damning string of details to add to my vampire case file. Anyway, we couldn't convene for the occasion, so we all had to gather for Thanksgiving instead. This was just after the tumultuous 2016 election, and we felt it would be grounding to get together. And while families across the nation that year were riddled with conflict, our Thanksgiving among chosen family rose to even new heights of dysfunction. Several unsuspecting guests with nowhere else to go had joined us, though they wouldn't stay for long. Millie arrived, pistols blazing, blasting one of my songs from a portable speaker. "We have music on already," said Cassandra, pointing at the air through which Miles Davis drifted. She stood cautiously between Millie and the turkey, a free-range bird she'd paid top dollar for, as she would remind us throughout the night. "Yeah, but it's his song," said Millie, gesturing my way. At a birthday of mine years ago, Cassandra offered/threatened to put her fist in Millie's vagina, but that spark of lust between them had long ago died. Only exhaustion and animosity remained as Cassandra now addressed Millie like a preschooler. "We don't want to listen to 2 songs at once, though, do we?" she asked. "Why not? I'm a friggin' DJ," replied Millie. The song was something I'd recorded at 20, a gravel-voiced list of name recommendations for cats. Advertised as good names, though not all were. "Ambassador Baby, Bucket of Cuddles, Darling Evie, Fix-a-Dent," growled my younger self, as Cassandra and Millie went head-to-head at the threshold of the kitchen. When it was time to sit down to dinner, Millie opted out of a chair, preferring instead to kneel on the floor so her head was on the same plane as the plate in front of her. And why not? She had allowed cat names to abate, at least. Let her have her fun. We all proceeded in the customary way, and to satisfy any expectations Cassandra, Sam, and I imagined the unsuspecting extras at the table might harbor, to go around rattling off a thing or two we were thankful for. Peeking over the edge of her salad, Millie interrupted each person, hurling non sequiturs towards them, cursing and laughing. "I was a fucking hooker in the 70s, how about you?" Suddenly a feral patriarch, I found myself bellowing at her, using the pepper shaker like a gavel. "Millie, now," I yelled. As the herd began to graze, Millie took but one honorary bite of salad before descending slowly to the floor and crawling down the hall on all fours, becoming creature, and planted herself near the door where she remained for 2 hours, teasing her hair and muttering about suicide. "If I do it, it won't be your fault," she assured me when I tiptoed over to check on her. I found this statement very alarming, since every other day of the week she left me voicemails insisting her impending suicide would be my fault. The one-off guests began excusing themselves, stepping over us on their way out. "I don't think she'll do it," whispered Sam, the resident expert, as she cleared her plate and announced a round of karaoke. Her first number was from an old Starbucks commercial, a 30-second jingle that became a smoky hedonist anthem in her clutches. "Time flies by, I never get a minute, gonna treat myself," she sang with an intentionally unhinged satisfaction. I coaxed Millie into hazarding Big Spender, the only song to which she knew all the words, though she seemed to have forgotten them too. "Hey, Big Spender," she said at the wrong moment and softly, as though reading a distantly familiar name carved on a tree. She then fell back to the floor with a thud and sank into a deep unconsciousness until Finn rang the doorbell 45 minutes later. "I'm here, kittens," he announced through the intercom. At the sound of his bass baritone, Millie arose and tore out the front door to the stairwell, a Maenad heeding the Dionysian call. "Take off your goddamn clothes," she demanded from the top of the stairs, "or you can't come in." Reincarnated as a pornographer Cerberus, Millie now guarded the gate to our holiday in limbo. Finn was all too ready to meet her challenge. As departing guests of neighbors from above wriggled past him with leftover casserole, he stripped vigorously under flickering fluorescents at the foot of the stairs. He finally entered the apartment, ruddied and sweating, head held high, wearing only boots. "Daddy needs a drink." For a while after that, we had what I would call a nice time. Millie tried to comfort us youngsters about our futures in the uncertain political situation. "You babies don't know, we've had terrible presidents in the past. When I was a teenager, I was going to assassinate Lyndon B. Johnson and then kill myself," she revealed, adding, "but it didn't work out." As though it were an errand she hadn't gotten around to one afternoon. Shortly after this period of relative calm, unfortunately, our night took a darker turn. Finn suspected Millie had a demon inside that needed to be exorcised. I pled with him. If a demon is there, it has rent control, perhaps a deed. No convincing Daddy. Millie moved reluctantly as he bent her body into different positions in a high-stakes yoga of the soul before the two of them disappeared into the bathroom for a private ritual. When they emerged, Finn was weeping, and Millie was some strange version of Chipper. "He's gotta take a shit," she said. Chasing each utterance with the same hollow chuckle, she repeated the phrase over and over. "He's gotta take a shit," as though she and Finn were a classic comedy duo, and this their celebrated catchphrase. And each time she said it, Finn wept more furiously. I guess that was their act. Finally, Finn left. Eventually, all of us, including myself, would flee my apartment just to get Millie to vacate. Cassandra would end up crying too over the ruined holiday, and Millie would end up sending her flowers in the morning. "Sorry for the Thanksgiving, darling." For now, we just needed to get out of there, and Millie didn't even have to go home. In fact, she was on her way to another party. That. When I was walking through your city, was calling you by name. Oh, was anybody listening? Were those people all the same?
specter
going to sing one more song because it's a favorite of Lydia's. And it's called it's called The Ride, and it's kind of like when you get some sort of notification on your phone that says your driver has arrived, but you didn't order a car. And then you go out to see who's there, and you catch a glimpse through the slightly tinted passenger side window. And you have reservations about getting in. But something compels you and you do, and the driver never speaks to you again and takes you to the afterlife.
Thank you, darling.
So yeah, you can get the track. I'm just gonna pretend I'm in this car. You gaze longingly out the windows. Long nights always bring me down. Do you agree? Okay, drive me around town. Tonight hunger fills my cheeks. Why can't we stop somewhere? Why won't you speak to me? I don't understand myself. Why did I hide away? I was a drunk child today. Now we ride away tonight. Go through Hamtramck and Dearborn and come back here to hell in the Jets sense, and then somewhere else. I don't know. And I wonder when we're under, are we ever far? And I wonder when we're under here, are we ever far? Strange language coming in. I'd say roll up the windows if I didn't like the wind. But I And I wonder when we're under, are we ever far? And I wonder when we're under here, are we ever far from where we Thank you.
I have something to tell you. So come close. I want to see the white of your eyes. Come on. Come on. Tonight, I have summoned Satan. The Satan that's the cock nestled between my thighs. The worm gestating in the womb of an unmarried whore. The precinct arsonist, the terrorist, the teacher, the innocent trembling tongue tasting its lover's pubescent pussy for the first time. The razor-sharp, unrelenting thorn in the side of oligarchs. The Satan who has joined us in this room is a devil incapable of obedience, who unjustly suffers brutality where others enjoy salvation, whose mere existence perverts the grotesque fiction of zealots. You may not know this, but these God-fearing extremists once worshipped me. An immaculate miracle more precious than life itself. My body a damp silhouette of my father's ejaculate, who, in the words of Ronald Reagan, got knit in the womb of my mother. I was revered. Pre-born, unborn, future voter, post-conceived in advance of infancy, viable, rotten upon birth. Like the maggot flesh, the faggot flesh, the flesh of my mother's labia pressing against my cheeks as my soft skull slimes into this hell. Against my will, I cry, an infant. The original transgression against us, severed from the utopia of nothing. Non-consensual birth. And like all of us, born feeble and supple, I became a model citizen. A mere 12 months after I uttered my first words, I am the pride of my country. I pledge allegiance to the flag by memory, a nationalist nursery rhyme. The doting daughter of democracy, the white future of our country, an obedient student. The once great American educational institution where we learn of our country's great deeds and conquests, the admirable pursuits of the imperialists, the sin of poverty, and the ingenuity of the capitalist struggle, World War heroes, and manifest destiny. In the words of Senator Ted Cruz, God's blessing has been on America from the very beginning of this nation. Yes, the brave Confederate warriors enshrined in our beloved monuments evoke a proud history of men who tirelessly built America from vacant land, molding and shaping through the sweats of their brow, alongside ungrateful, involuntary laborers, the most prosperous and equitable country in the world, endorsed by none other than Jesus Christ himself. Family, God, country, red, white, and blue, indistinguishable, indivisible, infallible. Our laws must accommodate the divine will of God, who commands us to lower the top marginal tax rate, to love firearms, and add stipulations to food stamp requirements. Thou shalt not burden the job creator. No heretical regulations for those, nor insurers from paying for medical care for those with icky pre-existing conditions. God bless the servicemen, the boys in blue, our drones and tear gas, and landlords too. Yes, in this country, we weep for the sanctity of our bathrooms, but shed not a tear for a suicide of a transgender teen. A few lost cells are a travesty, but maternal deaths are collateral damage. A mountain of books will burn before a white child feels 1 ounce of discomfort. A critique of racial iniquity is a critique on God. No son of mine will see an anatomical illustration of intercourse, no, a firm grasp in the rectory. Basement will teach a child how to love. What does it mean to be a woman? I'll tell you what it means to be a woman, Senator Blackburn. A woman is the polite, quiet reverence afforded to the pedophile senator whose sins will be washed away with the passage of a religious liberty bill. Genderless Antifa vigilantes are burning the Constitution and the rights of you and I with it. In the words of U.S. Representative Jeff Fortenberry, lawmakers must be, quote, on the front lines of this fight against the forces of decay and degradation and darkness, end quote. Christians are being silenced. Christians are being intimidated. Christians are under attack. Disgusting. Those words taste bitter in my mouth. The delusional mantra of the deviant and the devout, they make me sick. Thickens my spit as bile seethes against my gums. The only threat to them is watching a sinner go unpunished. In Texas, the fetal heartbeat pounds like a war drum, signaling an advancing assault. Mississippi, Missouri, Florida, West Virginia, Arizona, Idaho, Kentucky, Ohio follow in its step. Where every fuck is a game of Russian roulette, they've deputized a rat king. A snitching army. A fresh inquisition of deputized spiritual warriors vested in the power of God and state to indict their own neighbors for providing an abortion or anyone suspected of aiding or abetting an abortion. I don't know about you, but I remember the crocodile tears and outrage outside Planned Parenthood just a few short years ago for allegedly selling fetal remains for profit. Then, Texas offered up $10,000, a bounty for every fetal head, as if Jesus heard Planned Parenthood was selling baby parts and said he can do it look better. Likewise, the Facebook Minutemen and the Cowards Revolution once again powdered their muskets in Virginia, setting their sights on the like of children's literature and history. Yes, in Virginia's House Bill 787, or the Moral and Character Education Bill, the spineless worm, Governor Glenn Youngkin diverted resources to establish a citizen tip line to provide panic-stricken parents who had just heard their fifth grader utter the word privilege, an outlet to incriminate public school teachers who they believe to be behaving objectionable. in the endeavor of, quote, rooting out inherently divisive concepts. Naturally, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Idaho, Texas, New Hampshire, Kentucky, Arizona, South Carolina, and 20 others joined the charge with similar bills. Which brings us to sunny Florida. HB 1557, or the Parental Rights in Education Bill, which proposes that we would prohibit even a discussion about sexual orientation or gender identity in any specified manner. An ubiquitous declaration of war, which they actually believe targets an insidious homosexual agenda aimed at grooming America's defenseless children. This bill, too, like the others, exclusively empowers sanctimonious tyrants. Each of these laws are only broken when the most pious person finds reason to claim injury. Obscured deep within the vague, flowery legalese of divisive concepts and objectionable behavior lies a horror left undefined. Their shapeless enemy grows and distorts. Its intentions increasingly desperate and depraved. It matters not that these laws are enforced, or how outlandish and untenable they are. Ratification may not even be their goal, but what is clear is that they have blown the dog whistle and advanced the front line. Impending legislation serves as a reminder that our children, even before they are born, are vulnerable to a nameless evil. That evil, my friends, is you and I. It is those who would pay to see Lydia lunches talk shit on the Lord's Day here at the UFO Factory. That evil is the bong water you spilled on your couch Tuesday night. It's the YouTube video of a bell hooks lecture. It's tucking and binding, a 3-hour Pornhub self-pleasure marathon, and androgynous haircuts. The ambiguity and omissions in these bills are deliberate, because the evil that lurks isn't meant to be defined. What we are meant to infer from the silence is that Satan walks among us. The devil prowls like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. 1 Peter 5:8. And so as long as they don't know who they are fighting against, they will see the enemy in you. And legislators have placed the responsibility of this country's salvation on their most vigilant constituents. They've sanctified the stickly pointed finger of the self-righteous and fearful, and it's pointing at you, and you, and you, and you. Now, some may label this fascism or a witch hunt, but let's call it what it is. A religious crusade in the service of political powers. Christian terrorism. And I don't want to hear not all Christians or a few bad apples, because if you are complicit and embrace a worldview that fundamentally condemns us, no amount of charity or bogus empathy can wash the blood from your hands. This refreshed campaign of hostility is undeniably harmful and has already inspired countless acts of violence and ideological brutality against us. How could we be surprised? The very foundation of their worldview demands servitude lest eternal punishment. And you may note that these laws are not actually capable of stopping a child from reading Toni Morrison or obtaining an abortion or being gay, at least for now. But they do make it harder to do so. They generate stigma, which causes suffering, inspires mob violence, and they punish our educators, our youth, and our doctors. This is not liberal speak, this is reality. Some may call for negotiations and others for education, but no amount of evidence or debate can change the mind of the superstitious. It would be easier to convince a snake to cease slithering. They do not deserve our respect, nor do they deserve our obedience. To permit a sinner to go unpunished would be to spit in the eye of God. The fruitful existence of subversives like you and I are an existential threat. So long as you are a free-thinking, godless individual, you are an aberration to God. A Satanist in the eyes of your neighbor and many who represent you in your government. I see no point in fighting against this characterization. We are the evil lurking. We are here to corrupt your children. I stand here as a proud embodiment of everything they fear. I am a Satanist because I do what pleases me. I am a Satanist because I am an anarchist fag. I am a Satanist because I fuck to come, not to conceive. I am a Satanist because I celebrate abortion and I have one on live TV. I am a Satanist because I am not ashamed of the condition of my womb, who I fuck, who I marry, and how I die. If their goal is domination, our goal is castration. If they fear the apocalypse, then we will deliver it. Now look to your left. And look to your right. That is the face of the devil. But we sin in the daylight with our heads held high. I summoned you here because we are the Satan that they fear. Welcome to hell. Good to have you here.
Thank you.